The New Orleans Pelicans just saved their franchise. The New Orleans Pelicans have one of the best young cores in the entire NBA, with Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, and Lonzo Ball. In this video, I'll be talking about the young Pelicans' future in New Orleans, as well as the big mistake they almost made that could have sent them on the wrong path. The New Orleans Pelicans, formerly known as the New Orleans Hornets, made their NBA debut in the 2002-2003 NBA season. They wanted to draft Chris Paul out of Wake Forest in 2005, and Paul's best season in New Orleans showed him leading his Hornets to the second seed in the Western Conference, featuring 8 50-win teams. The next superstar to be drafted by the New Orleans Hornets was Anthony Davis, but when he would really start to reach his full potential, hit his stride, and become the dominant force on both ends as we know him today, the team was already known as the New Orleans Pelicans as we know them today. But now this brings us to the present, with the next guy up in New Orleans. Drafted by the New Orleans Pelicans going first overall, Zion Williamson is already one of the best players in the entire NBA, already dominating the whole league even at his young age, just in his second season. Coming into the NBA, there were questions surrounding how well his game would translate to the professional level. In college, he was a man amongst boys, and so far he's writing the same story on the court in the pros, putting any doubts to rest. Dominating players with pure strength and power. But the scary thing about Zion is that he also has the supreme skills along with the impossible athleticism. We know Zion is a 6'6", 280-pound power forward with crazy bounce, but he also has a soft touch around the rim, the handle, and the body control. Plus the skills to pass and play make, giving him the point guard role at times in the Pelicans offense, which he thrives in. He has a great soft touch around the basket, so he may go up at the rim and body you, but he also has the ability to float the layup and have a soft touch on the way down. And he can hit leaning shots with either shoulder a decent way from the basket, giving him some diversity in the way he scores. He's not just going to body you through post touches, he can also fly down the court with his handle, which is much better than it should be with his weight and at his size. Zion's bully ball tactics are very different to his co-star Brandon Ingram's method of getting buckets. Brandon Ingram is much more of a traditional shot creator, more of what you think of when you hear the term shot creator in basketball. Pull-ups off the dribble, and overall many more jump shots. In B.I.'s first season out of Los Angeles, we saw him become an all-star with many more opportunities to shine. His full bag was on display, and he earned himself a max extension in the past offseason. The last young piece to be discussed for the New Orleans Pelicans is Lonzo Ball, a guy who has a very interesting and eventful story so far in the NBA, one of the most scrutinized players in the whole league. His shooting woes have disappeared with work in the gym and tweaks made to his form, and he's grown into a very reliable 3-and-D playmaker for the New Orleans Pelicans. With this young core, the Pelicans are set for the future, but they almost let it go. At this year's trading deadline, the New Orleans Pelicans were looking to sell. Specifically, they wanted to find a suitor for Lonzo Ball. We heard teams like the Warriors, 76ers, and Chicago Bulls were interested. Ultimately, the Pelicans never found a suitor, which is great. They should have never been looking to deal Lonzo in the first place. This is the big mistake the New Orleans Pelicans almost made, and the decision to not trade Lonzo is what really saved their franchise. In this past offseason, New Orleans traded away their star guard Jrue Holiday in a deal which sent Eric Bledsoe their way, essentially replacing Holiday with Bledsoe, which, as you know, is a downgrade. The insertion of Bledsoe has contributed to Lonzo being given a backseat in the offense. Lonzo can't truly play his role because they have another ball handler out there. He's really turned into a 3-and-D player rather than the playmaker role he's used to playing. Having Bledsoe out there just seems pointless to me. He can provide spacing at times with improved 3-point shooting and also defense, but I think giving Lonzo the full point guard role that he's been playing his whole life is the right move for New Orleans. Trading away Bledsoe should be New Orleans playing in the offseason, not the younger player who's already better and has more potential going forward, plus not to add better chemistry with the other players. With Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, and Zion Williamson out there, you don't need another ball handler or initiator of the offense. You really just need a guy to space the floor for those three and Steven Adams, which is also a very questionable guy to have out there next to Zion, who provides no spacing for the other guys. With these three young guys, though, the Pels are set for the future. But to my understanding, the team upstairs in the front office doesn't want to pay Lonzo as much as he wants. which I don't understand. If you wrap up Ingram like you already have, Ball, and Williamson when the time comes, for the coming years, you're good in terms of your main core. Even if you think giving Lonzo X amount of dollars isn't overpay, he still obviously has a lot of potential at only 23 years old and has gotten better every single year of his career. The Pelicans did a good thing not trading Lonzo at the deadline. They need to pay this man this offseason the money he's asking for, within reason, of course. And once they do that, their future is set. With Zion Williamson playing the way he's playing in his second year in the league at just 20 years old, some may argue that he's already a superstar player in this league. He's looking like a future perennial MVP candidate and a clear number one going forward. He hasn't disappointed in the slightest as the number one pick. Brandon Ingram is a secondary bucket generator for the Pelicans. Last year he showed us what he could really do, becoming an all-star with more touches, more shots, and overall more opportunity. And with Lonzo being that third piece to the puzzle in New Orleans, they're doing very well for themselves straight out of the Anthony Davis era with not a whole lot of time for the rebuild. They just got right back to it. Hopefully they don't make the mistake of letting Lonzo Ball go and keeping Eric Bledsoe because they're being stingy with their money. They need to pay him this offseason and build around their three young pieces. So with these three players in New Orleans, how good could this team really be a few years down the line? Obviously, the main goal of every NBA franchise is to win an NBA championship at some point, whether they're trying to work towards it now and trying to develop young talent or obtain more young talent to win big one day, or if they have championship aspirations right now. So how would a future Pelicans team fare in the playoffs? Now, obviously, I don't know that for certain, and no one does until we see it, but some people may think you could just build a wall for Zion like you can for Giannis and shut down the Pels offense. And a lot of people do know the difference between the two players. It's easy to try and compare the two because of their approach to the game, using athleticism, strength, and power, but Zion is much different. Zion is much more skilled. Like we talked about earlier, he has a great touch around the basket, something Giannis lacks. Zion also has better handles, which leads to better change of direction, which helps him to avoid defenders and avoid offensive fouls. As we've seen, loading up at the rim doesn't work against Williamson. Too strong, too agile. Challenging him at the rim will just leave you on the ground, and the same thing's going to happen in the playoffs. Scary combination of strength and skill. It's not like you could just throw three at him when you also have a guy like Brandon Ingram who will take attention away from Zion come playoff time, which is scary. With this young core, the New Orleans Pelicans are once again set for the future, and I believe they will be able to win a championship one day. They almost made the mistake of trading away Lonzo Ball and losing this young core. The New Orleans Pelicans just saved their franchise. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Rashad with Hoops Times 2. Hit the subscribe button to see more content like this and the like button if you enjoyed this video. Peace out.